Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Cancer August 2022 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. And what does that mean? That means that in today's reading, we are going to be taking a look at a challenge that Spirit is asking you to face and overcome this month that is going to help you better engage with your unique spirit, that part of ourselves that rises up and out when we are faced with challenges. And this is so that you can better unlock your own personal heroic capabilities so that you can better see your path, feel your purpose, and get closer to that level of emotional fulfillment that comes when we see where we fit and where we know where we can be of service to the greater collective experience. All right, so hi all of my Cancers out there. I have lots of Cancers as friends. I also am a Cancer rising, so I really resonate with your energy, and I'm excited to get into your reading today. So first, I'm going to pull some cards where we're going to take a look at the energy that you're bringing into the month of August. We'll take a look at what's going on external to you, so around you, and then what are you unlocking about yourself this month and facing your challenge, and then we'll dive deeper into the challenge itself and get advice from Spirit as to how to help you overcome it. So let's see, what are you bringing into the month of August here, Cancer? And just as I'm sitting here thinking about your energy, I'm seeing the sun rise, like the sun coming up over the mountains or the ocean, depending on where you live. My first inclination is to see it over the ocean, as even though I have grown up mostly on the west coast of the US in California, I now live on the East Coast, so I get a chance to see the sunrise instead of the sunset over the ocean, which is a really cool experience. But there's something about that there's almost like a dawning of something new within you that I feel intuitively is coming through, that the rays, the warmth of the light is coming through. And I like this for you. You have the King of Pentacles coming up as your internal energy, and that's a very robust, strong earth energy to have internally. This is one of really understanding your power on an emotional level to create abundance for yourself. It's one that's very grounded. It's one that understands your own personal worth and value. And it's also one that's very fruitful. When we think of the sun coming up and its rays touching on the land, there's an element here coming through of allowing everything that you've already planted to grow, to come into being. So there's something here that I'm just getting intuitively where you're starting to realize, I think, the capability that you have in making perhaps some areas of your life that you've kind of planted seeds already come to fruition at this point. All right, that's quite a few cards there. I did see the Tower, so the Tower might come out at some point in this reading. We'll see. I'd like to get one more card here, if nothing else. Well, it doesn't feel like anything else wants to come through, so let's see what's going on in your external environment. What's going on around Cancer for the month of August? Okay, Two of Pentacles. So it's an energy, a little bit of juggling, of having to figure out where to prioritize your time. We have the Six of Pentacles underscored by a card that is unique to this version of the Rider-Waite Tarot, which I love, which I look at this as kind of a slightly more emotional version of the Ten of Pentacles, further clarified by the Knight of Swords. So this card for me really speaks to that kind of place when we envision ourselves kind of at that penultimate level of our experience, where we can look back at our life and we want to really be in that place where we don't have those regrets, and we get to that place where we see a version of our future self and we say, that's what I want, on an emotional level, but also on a tangible level. And this card really depicts looks like an elderly woman, perhaps with her grandchildren around her and her daughter in the background. And there's this element of being able to also figure out, what do you want to pass on as part of your legacy? What if you did have other people around you who are like, tell us your story, grandma or grandpa? What would that story be about? And I think with the Knight of Swords, there's an element here of already understanding that. The Knight of Swords is a card of quick communication. It's a card of being able to bluntly express your truth. And it's one of going out there with that truth. And I think that that's really what's resonating with you, is that you're realizing this part of yourself that you want to express, this part of yourself, this truth that you want to take out into the world. This can also be, for some of you, this might have been a catalyst, that somebody in your life came out with a very blunt truth, that something kind of came out of the blue, took you by surprise, and it really pushed you to take a look at yourself in a broader perspective, to say, what do I want for myself? What do I want for my family? What do I want for my legacy? And that in turn is really helping you focus on the Six of Pentacles. And the Six of Pentacles is a card where we get to a place of equilibrium. It's a card that reminds us in the physical that what we put in we will always get that back in equal measure. It may not be immediate, but there is the element of balance that works as a universal principle. And so we have to kind of take action based on faith, understanding that we will reap the rewards of hard work put in and dedication. It just might not be immediate. There's also that element as well of understanding that there's always going to be a give and take in our lives, that at some point in our life, we're going to be having to be on the giving end of things, and then at another point in our life, we'll be on the receiving end. And we also have to understand that that will come in equal measure, and that there is no shame in either side. There's no shame or pride in understanding that we will have to be in one side of the equation or the other. It's just how things naturally are balanced. So there's something here around really understanding that balance, understanding as well that there are enough resources out there, both in what you can receive and also in what you can give, what you can help plant. And I think you're very legacy focused, but focused, I like how, again, with the King of Pentacles coming up in the emotional spot within you, what you're bringing to the equation is that you're understanding how you can build this legacy that you've emotionally connected to, what you see for a future version of yourself. And your experience this month may be a little hectic. It may feel a little bit like you're getting pulled in two different directions. You're doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But this is all to allow you to almost like fine tune. When we think of this individual who looks like they're juggling, and there's the infinity symbol wrapped around that, we are always going to be juggling multiple things. That's never going to end. We are never going to wake up one day and only have one task ahead of us. But the beautiful lesson in that is learning how to prioritize what is of value to us. And that's what the King of Pentacles is a master at. That is why he is the king of his suit, which the Pentacles focus on what's tangible in our experience. It's an earth element. So there's that feeling here of really understanding how to master yourself and where you prioritize in your day-to-day. And even though it may feel hectic and like you're doing a lot, there's also almost like a single-minded focus here as well, which I can really appreciate for you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and I really get the feeling this month, just intuitively, this is a month of bringing things into balance in the physical. That maybe perhaps you felt like you've been putting a lot of effort into something for some time and it just really wasn't paying off, and suddenly now it is. Or suddenly you're seeing a way to make it become more productive or beneficial for you in a physical way. So let's see what you're facing as far as your challenge for this month. I'm going to shuffle one more time. So the Ten of Swords. That's a hard energy. That's it. This isn't your main challenge position. And the Ten of Swords is an energy of where we've got to our lowest point. It's one of those places where you're like, there's only up to go from here. But the beauty of it is that it's also the closing out of a cycle, meaning you've hit the 10th in the tarot. The suits are in 10 card cycles. So you've hit the end of the cycle, and now you know what you're capable of. When you rise up again after being at this lowest point, you take away with you, and you can see here, I love the depiction in this deck of the light coming through. Even though he's been pierced by these swords, the sun is able to illuminate something within him that he wasn't able to see previously. And that's the beauty of when we get to that lowest point. There's an aha moment. There's a truth revealed and a clarity about ourselves. And for some of you, I think that that could be what this Knight of Swords is here, that there was this truth that came in as you were moving through your lowest point. And it really spoke to, and then here we have the Two of Pentacles again, just double confirmation there. That really spoke to, now this could be, again, it could be that this came in on the heels of somebody sharing news with you that brought you to this lowest point, but also clarified something for you in that moment, showed you something about your experience that you had been lacking, or that it was almost like that aha moment of like, that's how I can make this work, or that's where I need to focus myself. This is how I can get myself back into alignment. And it might have had to force you to go perhaps on one side of the equation over to the other. Maybe at one point maybe before this point you were in the giving side of things, and now you have to be in the receiving side because suddenly you need help based off of the information that came in, or vice versa. Maybe you were on the receiving side of things and now it's time for you to jump in and actually start to give help to those around you, or to start to invest your time in towards what you want for yourself. This could also simply be that in going through your lowest point, you realized something about yourself and you had to share that. And in sharing that with others in your life, it did change your dynamic. And again, it's changing where you fall on the kind of physical equation. And I think for a lot of you in the physical equation, with the King of Pentacles coming in, you're falling on, even if you have to fall on the receiving end of things, it's almost like you're understanding now that kind of beautiful give and take, that balance that comes into be, that even if you have to receive, what you can do with what you're receiving, that it's not, there's no shame in having to be on the receiving end, because you can take what you're receiving and grow that into something that is of value to you. And vice versa, that perhaps if you've been on the receiving thing and now it's time to give, you understand that because it is now in the right moment to give, it's in the giving that actually grows and provides more abundance, instead of, kind of being stuck in the Five of Pentacles mentality, which is, if I give, I won't get anything back. Now I think you're realizing what you can get back in the giving or in the receiving. So it's a beautiful understanding, a true understanding of kind of the flow of energy of the give and take, and how we can actually, when we get into this, when we understand our value internally and what we can create, we can actually balance out the scales and create for ourselves tangibly something that is directly tied to our legacy, whether we are on the giving or the receiving end. Okay, so what we have here, we have Ten of Swords, Two of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune at the heart of your reading, which is beautiful. This is what Spirit's asking you to embrace. Seven of Cups, Nine of Wands. So again, Ten of Swords. We're coming out of a point where we were at our lowest point, but yet we had an aha moment. There was something that was clarified, something brought into view around a legacy for ourselves, and a legacy tied more to that emotional understanding, a feeling of what you want to achieve for yourself. And with the Two of Pentacles coming in again, there's this element of juggling, of realizing, okay, if I have to do the day-to-day and I know I have all of these tasks to do, how can I prioritize in a way that now is in flow with where I am and what I want to create for myself? And with the Wheel of Fortune at the heart of your reading, this is saying, you are currently in a place where the flow of energy, the wheel is turning in your favor. And it's time. And if you can understand where you are in the balance of things and where to prioritize your time, your energy, your resources, it's almost like you kind of be like slingshot forward, more than if you resist, more than if you stay stuck in this kind of, I'm at my lowest point, I can't see the way forward. And this is really saying, yes, you can see the way forward because something has been illuminated for you. And Spirit wants you to embrace the energy that's moving in your favor, because on the other side of that comes the Seven of Cups and the Nine of Wands. Seven of Cups is a card of actually great emotional potential for fulfillment. There's a lot of, this is opportunity. This is kind of going back out there again with an eye to the world's my oyster. There's a lot of cups that I can engage with. It's almost like that feeling of realizing, wow, I'm not the only one in this equation. There are so many others around me that I can engage with. Now, this can also be a card where sometimes we get lost in the illusion that what is going to emotionally fulfill us lies without, instead of realizing that emotional fulfillment starts from within, starts from realizing what we have in our unique cup, what the needs, the wants, the dreams that we need to have fulfilled, and how we bring that out and share that with everyone and their cup. And so there's this element of having to really understand as you come into the Seven of Cups that the Seven of Cups is not you looking for others to emotionally fulfill or fill your cup from theirs. It's that you bring your cup out into the world of the possibility of interacting with many others who will share their cups with you. And if you can do that, if you can come at it from that perspective, from this kind of more optimistic excitement of what am I going to find as I get to look in other people's cups, so to speak, then we have the Nine of Wands, which is your final point of challenge before you can kind of get out here and start to really, I think, play with the prioritization of where you want to focus your time, energy, money, resources. And the Nine of Wands is a card that can be a little bit of a card of burnout. It can be a card of the weary, wounded warrior who's like, oh my gosh, I've come so far. But the beauty of it is that he has only one more point of action to go before he closes out the cycle, just like you've already closed out this cycle here on a mental level. You will close out a cycle of having to take action towards something that is actually at this point now felt very burdensome. So this can be like where you're just finally at that point where you're like, oh, I finally have saved enough money to buy that house, or I finally have got to that point where I'm going to graduate with my master's degree, or I'm finally at that point where I've signed the divorce papers and all of that is behind me. And now I have one more step to go before I go out into the world kind of fresh and unburdened. And I like that in this deck, it shows the Leo, the lion energy behind it, because this is a card that harnesses the energy of Leo. And we are in Leo season still, which really speaks to taking action from the heart, understanding that we have to step up into a place of leadership at certain times, but from a heart-based the look at realizing the love that we have for ourselves, and how when we act in our own best interest from that perspective, we actually help keep the balance, the universal balance in flow, because we are looking after ourselves and we're leading from a place of divine love, of the love that Spirit has for us and wants us to go out and to express, our uniqueness. And we also get into that place of being empowered where others don't have to support us on that level that comes when we are not having the courage to take action, to take authentic action to support ourselves and to further express ourselves out into the greater collective experience. So there's this feeling here of getting into that place of courageous action-oriented mindset to say, I know I'm almost there. I know I'm at that point, and it's time for me to take that last step of action, close out this cycle, and really start to dig in and manifest my legacy for myself. This is a very tangibly powerful month for you, Cancer. Where a lot of the other signs, it's almost more of like on an emotional or a mental kind of, coming to that point of realization or clearing the decks mentally. For you guys, this is realizing your ability to take your emotions, to take what you've experienced also mentally, and to turn that into how you take action in the physical and what you actually want to create tangibly. So this is a powerful month for you to really set that foundation for growth in the physical. Okay, so we have, for the Ten of Swords, we have the Knight of Coins, which is taking very measured action. It's step by step. It has like that kind of long-term goal. And then we have the Hermit and the Lovers. So for some of you, this has to do with something around what you love. It could be around getting to that point of, when we think about being at our lowest point, this could be around a relationship, someone you had loved. It could be around, again, a family member that you have lost. It could be around even just something that you had loved that unfortunately was either taken from you or changed, meaning maybe you had a long-term vision for this love. And unfortunately, it didn't wind up coming to be in the way that you had wanted. And that forced you to go into kind of what I would call this hermit mode. Now, it's interesting because we have the Hermit and we have the Knight of Coins. Both are cards of Virgo. So for some of you, you might be working with the energy of Virgo, and it might have maybe brought you to a point where you had to come to a place of realization around that energy. But there's also this energy with the Hermit of having to go within and realize, okay, if I had put time and energy towards something, or I had this long-term goal and I thought I was going through the steps to make something happen towards something that I loved or with something that I loved, and it didn't work out, brought me to my lowest point, what did that illuminate about myself? And that's what the Hermit really brings into place, is you realizing and being alone and kind of going through this journey and this hardship alone. And when we do hit our lowest point, yes, we can realize all the support that we have around us, but there's also that point of realization that we each are living our own experience. And at a certain point, we have to experience something that happens in our life kind of fully alone. We are on the journey internally alone, even though we can have external support. And the Hermit shows that as you're going through this, there's that realization of, I see what lies within me. I see now my own power. I see what I get to bring to the situation. I see also the hopes and dreams that are alive within me. And there's almost that level of the light coming through, piercing through, and that's what gets to shine out. And that's what pulls you out of the darkness. You realize your own light that you bring to every situation. And it's almost like a recalibration of focusing on your path. So even though this was a hard point for you to go through, it's realizing this is what I want for myself, and this is who I am, and this is what I intrinsically bring to every situation. Okay, so now let's see what's going on with this Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles always denotes having to make a choice as well. Do I do this task or do I do that task? And there is this element now of really understanding, okay, I think this is showing you, what you love, even if it didn't work out the first time. And now it's really making you realize, okay, if I'm seeing a new long-term vision for myself, what are those things that I need to prioritize in my day-to-day? And there's the sun. There's the illumination. Here's the light of day coming up over that horizon for you. It's the illumination of what's important in your day-to-day. I love that for you guys. And that's also a card that harnesses the energy of Leo. It also shows you too how you can have fun and really, there's always that youthful energy that comes through with the sun. There's usually the image of a naked child on there because it's showing us that we are illuminating that part of ourselves, that innocent, kind of untouched inner child that at some point as we got older got kind of pushed away and pushed away and pushed away. And we, and it could be through trauma. It could just be through, the circumstances of life. We get busy and it's hard for us to listen to that part of ourselves. But there's something here where I get the feeling it's almost like you're able to start to understand how by bringing that part of yourself forward, it allows you to easily be able to navigate your day-to-day tasks, that you're realizing I can do this and that and still bring myself into the equation. And there's the star. So you have the star and the sun. This is Aquarian energy, which is beautiful too, because we just had our Aquarius new moon yesterday, actually, I believe. Very powerful placements, really focusing on, again, bringing forward your individuality and understanding that we serve the greater collective the more we honor our individual spirit, that we can be of service through our own uniqueness, not acclimating and just kind of joining the collective. We join the collective with the awareness of who we are and what we uniquely bring. And I like that the star comes through because it's almost like you have the light of day, but you also at night have the light of the star that you find within yourself. That's also what the hermit speaks to here, is realizing that our guiding star, that great hope, dream, wish we have for ourselves, is actually not external to us. It's found within ourselves first, and we shine the light, almost like the Batman signal into the sky, for us to see it. It's an illusion that it's outside of ourselves. We are actually beaming it out for ourselves to see, for us to light the way in the darkness. Okay, so now let's go ahead and see the Wheel of Fortune. What does Cancer need to know about embracing this forward momentum? What does Cancer need to know about the Wheel of Fortune? 7 of Wands. Okay, for some of you, there's the energy of having to defend your actions. And you're wondering, is it worth it for me to defend taking this last step towards something? And I think for a lot of you, this is realizing, it's also a card of realizing what you stand for. If this is my new truth, if this is my guiding star, then this is what I stand for. And it's worth it for me to start to prioritize it, to start to say, this is where I'm going to take action. This is what I want to do. This is what ignites my passion and how I can express it into the world. And we have Strength, another card of Leo. You guys are really harnessing that energy. I love it this month. And the 6 of Swords. Beautiful. This is a card of mentally transcending your limitations. It's finally moving on from a place where you were kind of in choppy water that kept you in a place, I think, of a lack of clarity. And you're finally moving on to make peace with whatever had been. And you're allowing yourself then to really tap into this Leonine energy of courage to say, yeah, these are 2 cards, again, that really focus on the energy of Leo. Where are you going to stand up for yourself and have the courage to do so, but from a place that is mentally clear, that is mentally at peace, where you can simply say, yeah, I see my own importance. I see the truth of where I want to take action and why. And it's just as simple now as, and I get the kind of feeling like how there's an image, of an individual on the boat, kind of launching their boat into the serene water. Well, the current is in your favor, and it's going to naturally just take you to where you need to be. So there's an element too of kind of just making peace and having faith that here I go. I like that. I really like that for you, Cancer. Okay, let's see what's going on with the 7 of Cups. What does Cancer need to know about the 7 of Cups? Let's see here. We have 2 of Wands. It's a choice. Where do I go from here? Where's my next point of action? So for some of you, I think there's a little bit of that, kind of deliberation. Don't get lost in the false illusion that fulfillment lies without. It's more about realizing what's in your cup. Again, that the needs, the hopes, the dreams of yourself that you want fulfilled, and choosing to take action now in favor of that, but with an eye to who are you going to meet? What cups are you going to meet along the way once you make that decision? Anything else for the Seven of Cups? Ooh, okay, so we have the Eight of Wands and the Eight of Cups. Interesting. Okay, so there's something coming in here with quick communication around something that's going to make you realize where you are done with something emotionally and it's time to move on. So I think for some of you, this could be, there could be a email come through, or it could be a phone call, a text, something along the lines that finally gets you into that place of, yeah, it's time for me to move on. This doesn't emotionally fulfill me anymore. This is the way forward. This is where I actually want to go from this point. So there is something here around perhaps maybe you've been stuck kind of in a place of looking at all these options, looking at maybe all these. It's almost like for those of you who this is like on a personal level, maybe around a relationship, you might have been looking outside of yourself and saying, oh my gosh, there's so many people out there I can meet. I don't even know where to start looking. And there's something here that's maybe allowing you to move on from a past relationship, a communication in some way. This could even be, again, if you're going through a divorce or a breakup, that there's something that's finalized and you're like, okay, it's time for me to emotionally move on. Go out there and realize it's not about kind of getting stuck in the, where am I going to meet this next person? And what if there's a better person over here or a better person over there? This is just saying, I'm just going to go out there and realize I know where at least I don't want to be anymore and what's done for myself. So I'm going to go out there with just kind of this optimistic experience of here's my cup and let me see who gravitates towards my cup. Who am I pulling in for myself as I make the decision to walk in this way? It's almost like with the Two of Wands, there's an element of coming to that fork in the road and you choose the one way or the other. Now, for those of you, if this is like part of work or career, something else going on in another aspect of your experience, this could be where you get that communication through LinkedIn from a recruiter that says, hey, I have an option for you to change, location. Do you want to work for this business instead of that? Or there's an opportunity in a totally different, realm of a field of experience, and you realize, yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. This is it. This is, instead of me wanting to leave my job but not knowing where to go, I'm now realizing I just need to make the decision to leave my current place because it's not fulfilling me. So once I make that decision and I take up this opportunity and I kind of go with the flow, well, even if this next step isn't exactly where I want to be, it's allowing me to make the decision, move in this direction, take that last step of action, and get the flow of energy opening for myself. This may just be a stepping stone, but it's the right stepping stone. Okay, now let's see what's going on with the Nine of Wands. So there's something here around quick communication that is going to clarify where you no longer want to be, and that's what's going to help you make the decision. Okay, this is where I'm going from now on. Ooh, I love it. We have the Ace of Wands and the Eight of Coins. So that really speaks to, as you get the courage to close out the cycle, you take that step of action, you start the new cycle fresh and unburdened with the Ace of Wands. There's also this element of reconnection to passion, reconnection to your unique passion, and lightening the load of realizing I don't have to carry all of this. I don't have to carry the other 9 wands with me. I get to move forward with just my vision for myself, where I want to take action based from a very simplified reconnection to my eternal flame. What lights my fire? And the Eight of Coins is a beautiful card to have come up here with that. The Eight of Coins is one of putting your head down, of really mastering something in the physical, putting your time and energy and effort towards it, and just kind of doing it. And I love in this deck specifically, they have this image of the individual. And it's almost like you can tell he's been working on all the individual pentacles. And maybe at the time he didn't see how they would all come together. He didn't see the structure that he was building. He was just focused. There was an element of trust and faith he had to have as he was just working and working and working and working. And now suddenly the structure comes into focus, and that's where the inspiration comes in. It's almost like the aha of like, oh my gosh, all of these things I just thought I was kind of doing in a vacuum, or I thought, all these tasks, these day-to-day things I was just kind of wrapped up in. Suddenly now I see, and understanding the way I want to go, and understanding I'm choosing the fork in the road going this direction, I see now, it's all coming into focus, what I can build for myself and what I want to build. And therein lies the fresh inspiration, the connection to the new cycle. Okay, so now I'm going to pull 3 additional cards here for the concept of curiosity, courage, and contemplation. And these are cards of advice from Spirit in those 3 different areas. So the first card here is going to be where Spirit would like you to stay open and curious to throughout the month of August to really help give Spirit that channel. So when we're open and curious, we are being just that. We're opening ourselves up to what we don't know. We're getting past all of those kind of predetermined ideas that as we get older, we put in place when we say, if I do that, this is what's going to happen. And so we stop ourselves from kind of looking in certain aspects of our experience for new things, for things we didn't know 10 years ago or 2 years ago or even just yesterday. And this is where we get to really open ourselves up to the miracles that want to come in for us, because we kind of wash away all of those predetermined notions and we get ready for where Spirit wants to kind of creep in and show us something. This is where we get to stay present as well in that place of curiosity where we're like, who am I going to meet today? What am I going to learn about myself? What next step down my path is going to be illuminated for me? So we have, I love it, cornucopia, master number 11. This is the gateway between what is currently in your experience and what can be when we have faith and co-create with Spirit. So where to be curious? What does this, where is the doorway leading you this month? Where are you choosing to make a decision to move forward and co-create with Spirit from this place with an eye to what you want to create for yourself, to the legacy that you want to emotionally connect to and build now? What, if you could walk through that doorway, would that look like? And how can you have Spirit come in this month and really be able to help you see where that door lies, to help you open it more fully, and to really have faith that what you see and what you yearn for are one and the same and can be for you. Okay, now we're going to pull a card here for the concept of courage, and this is going to be where Spirit would like you to have courage to take action, what to keep in mind as you're really getting to that place of that courage to kind of jump into the flow of things. And to, there is something here with the 8 of Cups coming in about really being able to leave something behind that you are no longer emotionally connected to. Surrender frustration. Okay, it says frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. And I think that's really, it really plays to the 2 of Pentacles coming in here, especially in your external environment, because this is really where we get to that place of we do feel like we're juggling. We feel like we're kind of inundated, almost like we can't keep our head above water with all the tasks that we have to do. And when we're starting to feel and have clarity as to where we do want to prioritize our time, that can feel really frustrating. That can feel like I see the way forward, I see what I want to do, but I have to keep the status quo at the same time. And I think and I know for myself, I am one that my parents always laugh with me that my first word or my first phrase as a child was, I am frustrated. And I do feel like I do have to work a lot with the energy of frustration because things don't work at the pace that I would like them to move at. And I've had to learn to slow myself down and bring patience into the equation. And it really is true. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to center yourself and to realize that sometimes it's just about getting yourself back to that place where you're breathing, where you're self-aware, and you get back to the clarity that you have and just say, yeah, today, all that I can do to help me further my goal towards this is answering that email with yes. I am interested in that new position. It doesn't mean that you don't have to provide dinner for your family, or that you don't have to call your mom back, or that you don't have to go and, fix the leak in your roof. It's that we still have to do all of those things, but we get to come back to that place of realizing there's always going to be that nugget of one thing each day that furthers us one more step on our goal towards emotional fulfillment, towards emotional connection to our physical experience. And that's where we get to really tap into combining our spiritual experience with what we manifest for ourselves in the physical. And that comes through our emotional connection. In Cancer, you are a sign that is ruled by your emotions and your intuition. And so you understand the importance of that. But now I get the feeling that you're going to really see how that manifests physically for you. So it's about when the element of frustration starts to bubble up within yourself. This month, it's about coming back and getting yourself back to that place of clarity of what is the one task I can do today to keep building this structure. What is that one thing that connects me back to touching on that passion and inspiration and the spark that allows me to emotionally connect to my experience? And if it's only one thing each day, well, that's great, because that means I'm juggling the right two things. I'm juggling me, and I'm juggling the things external to myself, which we all have to do, but at least you are in that equation and you're very fully aware of it. Because that's really where we get to a place where we are kind of spiritually bereft to a certain extent, where when we don't see ourselves in the task that we do each day, where we don't see that we have a place in those tasks. So this month, it's about bringing yourself back into that equation and into the tasks you do each day, even if it's just one task that you do for yourself. Okay, now let's see what is for the final card here, pulling for the concept of contemplation. And contemplation is where Spirit would like you to stay reflective to for the month, to allow this whole message to really ground it in your experience. Something just to kind of keep in mind each day to say, am I keeping myself personally aware of me? Let's see here. Actually, I think this is the card. All right. So we have break the chain. It says ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. I love this. This card really speaks to, in this deck, breaking past those barriers that we sometimes do hold on an ancestral level, or even just a familial level, where we maybe have seen in our family line that we can only achieve this amount of success in our life, or our family life has to look like this, or we have to follow a specific career path or have a specific perspective. And at this point, you get to break that. You're getting to this point of realizing you are the center of your own universe. You are both the sun and the star at night. The light comes from you. It comes from your inner child, your uniqueness, and it comes from the driving dream and hope you have within your heart. And that is what is going to help rewrite your future to be in alignment with what you emotionally connected to here. Beautiful, 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 Cancer. Okay. Actually, I'm going to pull, before I get into the final message there, I'm going to pull just a couple additional clarifiers here. It's just additional words of advice from Spirit. Ooh, that was a sloppy shuffle. So let's see. Any additional words of advice for cornucopia, for staying open to what, if you could open that door to what can truly be for you, the abundance that's waiting, what would that look like for you? And allowing Spirit to really help you see that doorway and open it fully. What does Cancer need to know about cornucopia? Oh, Sandpiper Spirit says be playful. Number 51 breaking down to a number 6. Number 6 harnesses the energy of love. It also really harnesses the energy of working with others towards a common spiritual goal. I love this for this. I think there is that energy of you're being asked to really tap into that inner child, to be playful, to realize that abundance doesn't, we don't grow abundance through desperation. We don't grow abundance through fear. We don't grow abundance through trying to do it all and hide ourselves or lose ourselves in the process. We do so through enjoying life. You think of the sandpiper. For those of you who have been along the beach at any point, and the sandpiper is an interesting bird. It goes along at the very edge of the water, and it eats the little sand crabs and things that are that come up as the water recedes and comes in. But it's almost like when you watch it, it is playful. It's like watching little children on the edge of the sea where the water comes in and they kind of run away from it, and then they run out after it and they run away from it, and it's fun, it's playful, it's something where we can kind of forget that fun element, that they're having fun almost playfully like a child, playing with the cosmic dance of, the waves that are coming in. But they're also doing it in a way that is fulfilling to them because that is how they nourish themselves. And there's that element coming through strongly here for you, Cancer, that is how you nourish yourself, to play, to dance with life, to take the waves that are coming in, ready to kind of sweep you off the shore and into this next phase, but to have fun with it. And I actually saw another card, I think. That was weird. Seemed like I saw a card flipped up in there as I was shuffling. But there's just, this it's almost like you're kind of playing with the cosmic energy right now in a way that doesn't have to feel stressful. It shouldn't bring in fear and desperation. That instead should really just feel like you're in flow. You're dancing with life. Surrender frustration. We have see the big picture, number 29, breaking down to master, number 11. So to allow yourself to get past this point of frustration of, I want to do my stuff, or I'm not getting as far as I want, or I have so many things to do. It's getting back to opening that door in your mind of, again, seeing what you want for yourself and realizing that is built by the actions you take now, by the mental place you are in now. So get back to that big picture, open that door on a mental level, take a look around, know it's yours to have, and then bring yourself into making that one choice each day to do something that gets you a little closer, that brings you a little closer to walking through that doorway. Okay, and we'll get one final one here for break the chain. What does Cancer need to know about breaking the chain and rewriting their future? I love it. Spider Spirit, make your dreams real. 56, breaking down to master, number 11 again. Well, I don't think it could be more synchronistic than this. Make your dreams real. It's time to break the chains that have held you back on some level. And it's time to just go out there and start attracting those dreams to yourself. And I like that there's also the element of the spider's web kind of coming into play, similar to mirroring this 8 of coins. It's almost like with each step you take every day, it's like you're building another aspect, another strand of your web, and you're attracting to yourself the image of your future self, and it's going to kind of stick. You're catching the opportunity as it comes forward. And it's like you're stepping through the doorway while also creating the flow of energy towards you. It's very beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, Cancer. Again, working with the physical through the emotional. Okay, whoa. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. I'm pulling a final card now for the larger overarching spiritual lesson that you're learning for yourself this month. I will read the full excerpt from the book that comes with this oracle deck, so you can get a little additional piece of advice and clarity here that doesn't come directly from me. I'm just the messenger. All right, so let's see here, Cancer. What is Cancer learning about themselves on a higher spiritual level this month? You have to bear with me here. I do like these cards to come out on their own. So, ooh, there we go. Oh, you have two. Okay. Ooh, Key of Light. So another sign just got this. I can't remember who it was, but it was interesting. They got it also coupled with a second card. So we have Key of Light, number 26, breaking down to Master number 8, which is the number of personal empowerment, empowered leadership, and physical abundance. We also have then Divine Grace, the law of efficiency, number 32, breaking down to the number 5, which is the number of change and flow. Okay, so number 26. It says, Key of Light. Archangel Michael loves you unconditionally and serves your soul journey. He brings you a spiritual gift now, the Key of Light. This key allows you to open any door, clear away any obstruction, and free yourself from any prison or enslavement, physical, emotional, or psychological. There is no need for you to feel trapped or locked out of a situation you want to get into. You now hold within your hands a divine key that will assist you in many ways. Archangel Michael has a message for you. You have the power of the divine in you. You have the ability to free yourself no matter whether it seems that another person, a set of circumstances, or the entire world holds more power than you. Your power of freedom is unconditional. It doesn't require that outer circumstances change in order for you to be free, though as you choose freedom, outer circumstances often change radically. That is what the Six of Swords is. When you change mentally, you change your perspective internally, everything starts to change externally because you realize you can overcome those limitations internally first, and then those limitations are overcome externally. It says, for now to be free, use the Key of Light. This means staying true to what you know for yourself. Gently and lovingly assert your truth now. Do not cave in to naysayers and fear generators. Most especially, do not collapse under your own old fears or doubts. Gently and persistently cleaving to the light within will bring you through any apparent obstacle, free you from any apparent prison, and ensure your divine destiny is fulfilled. All doors shall be opened to you. You are being given a gift of unconditional grace. Step back and radiate love from your center. That is your way. You do not have to betray your spirituality to fight. You can fight with love and trust, and that can be your way as a spiritual warrior. In each moment you choose love and trust, you are fighting the good fight. You are learning that love is expressed in no as much as in yes. For when you fight against those who want you to deny the truth, you are standing clear and strong in loving truth. Michael helps you realize the strength that you already have within you to do this. This oracle is a message for you to trust in your own ability to triumph right now. You are the key to success. You must believe in yourself. You don't have to force a door to open. In perfect time, according to divine grace, all doors will open for you. Your dreams and actions will prove themselves in time. No person, place, or thing has any power to hold you back. The Key of Light is spiritual permission from the universe to succeed in your life mission. You shall not be kept back from your divine destiny. You shall be empowered to succeed. Refuse to give up on your dreams. This may mean freeing yourself from situations or relationships that have enslaved or controlled you. When you are ready, this can be done with great gentleness, compassion, and strength. Free yourself with love, not fear. You may need to lock doors to the past behind you. With divine empowerment, you can completely and utterly allow the past to be over. You will find that new doors can then be unlocked for you. And I think that that's something that's coming through here this month for you. Is you're going to realize the doors that now you need to walk away from, close behind you, and walk towards the new that are waiting to be opened. Okay, 32, divine grace, the law of efficiency. It says, it is time your life became easier. It is time for you to walk the way of divine grace with trust, simplicity, and acceptance. You do not have to try to make things happen. You can gracefully act without attachment and trust that all will be as it is meant to be. Surrender your struggles now as you allow life to serve you with love and kindness. This is the most efficient use of your energy and will lead you to the best results. The law of efficiency encourages us to work smarter rather than always working harder. It is like learning to allow a wave to carry you to shore rather than swimming the entire way with your own efforts alone, or even against the current, which would make the journey even harder. It is like planting a seed at the right time so nature will help it bloom in the spring, rather than planting it during the dead of winter, when it takes a lot of effort to keep it alive. And even then, it may not survive. This is the intelligence of the law of efficiency and divine grace at work. To hitch your wagon to the universe in this way, you need to learn to listen. This means tuning into what feels right or wrong at any given time. Sometimes you will want to push forward, yet your intuitive knowing will guide you to rest. Sometimes you will want to hide from a challenge, and yet know in your bones it is time to step up and shine with boldness, despite the fear you may feel. The universe has a sense of natural flow, cycles, and timing that assures us that it supports every dream we dare to dream, and that everyone can come to fruition in due course. It may not look exactly as you expect, but if you have set it in motion with desire and intention, karmic law will ensure that it finds expression. For this to happen in the most loving, graceful, and easy way, you must learn to hear, feel, and sense the currents of life and work with them rather than push against them. And that's the Wheel of Fortune. That's why Spirit's asking you to embrace the forward momentum, the flow of the current moving in a specific direction. All right, so it says, this is about common sense, allowing yourself to be helped, not making things more difficult for yourself than they need to be. Imagine that you have a chance to share a feeling of love in a room full of receptive people. The time is right. They are open, and your efforts create the maximum effect for love's success. Or you could expend the same amount of time and energy by arguing with one disinterested person in an attempt to get them to understand and receive your love, even though they actually have no interest in doing so. They just wish to have their own point of view and for you to agree with that. One is working with the law of efficiency, and the other is working against the tide of life. It is not bad to choose the harder way. Sometimes it can be a great learning experience. But you are being encouraged with this oracle to explore the easier and more graceful way more often, especially at this time in your life, because there's a helping hand, a natural wave of energy in life that is going to be able to support your rising spirit and manifesting something truly beautiful and special in the world. The law of efficiency is also sometimes known as the path of least resistance. We must find the strength that comes from letting go and trusting that the universe knows what it is doing. It takes spiritual maturity to cede to wisdom greater than your own immediate understanding. Then you are surfing the wave rather than swimming against the current. How efficient to work with life and its cycles rather than believing you must struggle and strain to be heard, loved, rewarded, and inspired. You have that maturity within you. Trust now. Trust that all will come in time. Beautiful. I'll leave you with one last thought here, Cancer. Just focus on one string of your web at a time, and the rest will come to be. I hope you all have a wonderfully freeing month of August, a month that is dedicated to bringing the awareness back to you and one dedicated step each day, and really getting into feeling in flow with your life again and understanding that the vision for yourself will come to be. If you would like to book a personal reading or just learn more about me and the services I offer, you can click on the link in the description box below. And otherwise, if I don't see you there, I will see you next month for September's Illumination reading. Bye, Cancer.